I am quite nervous and probably should have shaved. So let's rock. Okay. Does everybody remember their first music download in their life? Their very first song that they ever downloaded? Exactly. Not many of you can place it. Be it through iTunes, be it through music piracy site that nobody talks about. Nobody really knows what the first music file that they ever downloaded was. Maybe it's a little MP3 that sounds like it came out of a tin can. Maybe whatever. But unfortunately, due to this, the piracy within the industry, a lot of people have spoken about music today, is on the rise. However, it's making a comeback. So I would like to speak to you guys today about something that is extremely close to my heart, vinyl. So, I want to start out with a quick little story and why I like it so much. It bridges the generational gap. Your grandparents, your parents, even maybe your kids nowadays, if they're strange like me, like to hold music and stuff, maybe listen to vinyl. It's generational. So on my 12th, just before my 12th birthday, my parents went to Vegas. So I was left staying the night at my grandmother's house. And on Sunday, the last day of the weekend, I said, "Grandma, do you happen to have any records laying around the house?" She said, "Yeah, I think I still have my old records." So we hike on down to the basement, and she brings out her stack of 45s from the 50s. And these absolutely fascinate me. I sit there flipping through them for about an hour. So, that being said, she gave me that record player for my 12th birthday. Now, the reason it's so close to my heart, I want you guys to picture yourselves. After I got that record player, say junior year in high school, it was about February in the dead of cold. It was actually a cold day, not a snow day, a cold day. -30 degrees Celsius. I got my Snuggie on, and I went down to my room, down our little tiny hallway, and I grabbed an LP, put it on, grabbed some tea, and I just relaxed. It's one of those days, you don't have to do anything. You're not in school, just relax. That is vinyl to me. So, let's get to some history real quick. In 1930, the first LP, long-playing record, was pressed. These are albums. It was pressed on wax as opposed to plastic, like today. It was very fragile and very strange as of today's standards. Today, it's pressed on polyvinyl chloride. Try saying that 5 times fast. It's kept in factories in droves. They melt it down and press it. It's a very, very fine material. So, back in 1930, it was mostly for the rich. Most posh families had these within the households. And by about 1955, the 45 craze rolled around, and 7 of 8 houses in America had them, just laying around. Most teenagers, that's how they got into rock and roll, and the rebellion, hip-hop, and all that we know today. That's how it all started. That's the root of it. So, the magic of vinyl, as opposed to an MP3 file that I said maybe sounds like it came out of a tin can, is it's an exact copy of the studio tape, the master tape. It's an exact copy. So after all of this boring history, what about how it works? So I repair turntables. I help out a shop down the street from me. They're called Gibson's Electronics. Used to work with them on Gratiot. They have a spot in Holly. I've repaired turntables since junior year when I got mine that went to Vietnam. That's a story for another day. So we'll start with belt drive versus direct drive. Now, what in the world does this mean? Basically, belt is, just like I have on here, a belt. It's pulled tight, it's rubber. It goes around a motor. It's called a capsane. Don't need to remember terms, no quizzes later. It pulls a platter, as it's called, and simply pulls the record along. Problem with belt drive is it tends to fall off speed, so sometimes Jackson 5 is a little slow. The harmonies are a little strange. Journey is a little bit too quick. His voice gets a little too high. Not a big deal unless you're a musician like me and trying to play along to the guitar, thinking, is my guitar out of tune? Strange. Direct drive solves this, and it's simply a gear attached directly to this magical platter Think of it like a plate, like your microwave platter. That spins around. That's attached to a direct drive gear. So, the most important bit about turntables is the cartridge assembly, which holds the needle which you drop and makes that magical sound. That is everything that a turntable is. It's a couple wires, and coming off of this little diamond tip is your music. On the grooves of the record, it's no larger, actually quite smaller than the width of a human hair. Think about that being pressed in 1930. It was that fine as well. It's just been refined as the years have gone on. So, the thing is it's been the same technology. It's been a needle dropping on a little piece of plastic or wax since 1930. CDs have come around, MP3s have come around, these little iPods that you throw around everywhere have come around. So, why am I so attached to vinyl? See, albums live in your house. They're a 12 by 12 window into the soul of an artist. You can hold that album art. You can look at it. You can even display it if you want. I have a couple framed albums signed Abbey Road. So, it's beautiful in the house. It's absolutely stellar. Instead of wherever the heck the cloud is on your Spotify or your iTunes, whatever that may be, it lives right there. It takes a presence in the house. In fact, Robert Plant once said, this is the special bit of vinyl. If you scratch an album, you did that. You caused that record to skip. You remember that day you accidentally dropped it while you had your friends over, maybe drank a little bit too much, and it fell. So, I would like to conclude with a story very special to my heart. I was standing with my uncle in our favorite record shop. He came up from Tennessee one day and decided to tell me a little story. We were looking at albums. I was asking him suggestions. Cream Disraeli Gears has Sunshine of Your Love on it. I said, how about this one, Uncle Gary? He said, I remember the day that album came out. I remember I went down in the snow to my local Meijer and picked up that album the day it came out because they were talking about it on TV. That is the generational gap. Uncle Gary is 65 and change. I'm 19. You can't talk about video games. You can't talk about the newest iPhone with someone that's 70 years old, like my grandmother. But you can talk about the music that has touched their lives and has touched ours. Thank you, everyone, for your time.